Here's Brody Brazil.
Erik Karlsson just continues to have this monster pace. 30 points now in 21 games. Assist number 18 and 19 on the season, recorded tonight against his former team. He's just creating a ton. And I have to pose it like this. It's not a knock against Brent Burns at all. So I'm not saying this in a negative way or an insulting way, but I think Karlsson's window, not of opportunity, but his window to be creative might have opened up when Burns is not on the team. And it's weird, right? Because those two were never a defensive pair, so they weren't on the ice at the same time. Is it maybe what the forwards are expecting or predicting from him? Is it just a little bit more creativity he can have? I think only he would have the best answer to that. Maybe some of his teammates would too. And ultimately, when we get into the right situation, maybe he could expand on that. Again, I want to be careful in not saying this the wrong way that, Burns is gone and he's happy or something now. No, it's not that. It's literally the strategy side, the X's and O's of Karlsson can do more, maybe now as the official quarterback of the blue line. And I also want to say too, knock on every piece of wood around you right now, being healthy through the first 21 games. And it's a long season. And I wonder, can he keep this pace up? Is he on a 100-point season tear right now that he can actually do? And especially, let's also be honest about this, having a season like this on a Sharks team like this, one that's going through transition, one that maybe doesn't, have the most successful lineup. And again, that's not a knock too. I mean, you kind of have to ask the question, if Erik Karlsson wasn't having the season he's having, where would the Sharks be after 21 games? I would also say that James Reimer could equally be substituted in that sentence, in that conversation too. Where would the Sharks be without some of his starts and him keeping the team in games? But just going back to, Erik Karlsson, can it sustain? Can it persist? Does it ultimately lead to, I'll tell you what it leads to, interest by other teams, right? He's got their attention right now. But does it ultimately lead to him not being a Shark by the end of this season? And I think, I'll be very blunt, I think what determines that is twofold. Would the Sharks be willing to retain some salary that another team is almost certainly going to ask for of his contract? And also, what would said team be willing to offer the Sharks? Because if the Sharks are going to withhold a little bit and they want to get some cap space, they're also going to want to get something back, something significant back in return. What other teams could fit Karlsson in like that? He's still has no move clauses, I believe, in the contract. He's got some limitations. So what is he interested in? What's he into? But again, just circling back, looking at 30 points in 21 games, and it's relatively evenly distributed, right? 19 assists and 30 goals. 19 assists and 11 goals for 30 points. It's not like he's doing all of one and none of the other. So Erik Karlsson, what could he do the rest of this season? And will he be a Shark the rest of this season? And what are the things, honestly, behind the scenes to the very core that have put him back in this spot? It's crazy because in spurts, right, over the last couple of years, we would do this segment on TV. Is Karlsson back? Has Karlsson found it? I mean, and the answer was always, quite honestly, no. To a sustained period of time, the answer was generally no. And that's just the way it is. But at this point, if I'm doing that segment, is Erik Karlsson back? Yeah. 21 games, quarter of the season? Yeah. I'd like to see it last. And I'm happy for him. I really am happy for Karlsson. It comes at an interesting time, when the team is struggling and turning it around, and it's good for him that he's in this spot and he's getting noticed, and We'll see where it goes.